Welcome to the Candyverse. Today we're not going to talk about anatomy, color theory, or weird rules. Today I'm going to show you how I think through an illustration from scratch. Step by step, exactly the way I do it. No perfect tutorial. Just my real process. With doubts, changes of mind, and references open in 1,000 tabs. Because a lot of times you see the final drawing, and it looks like it came out of a single magical line. But behind it, there's a very concrete path. The first step is almost never drawing. The first step is looking for pose references. I don't sit in front of a blank canvas waiting for divine inspiration. I go look for bodies in action, interesting positions, angles that make me think, okay, this pose already says something on its own. It can be a dynamic pose, something more relaxed, or an intimate composition. It depends on the emotion I want the illustration to have. With those references, I start doing idea sketches. Very loose. Very ugly, honestly. I'm not trying to make them look nice, just to capture the general idea. The pose, the direction of the gaze, where the arms go, what takes up more space, how the silhouette feels. At this stage, the goal is not to make a drawing. It's to explore possibilities. Sometimes I do 3 or 4 different mini sketches for the same character idea, but with different framing and poses. And here I do something crucial. I choose one. I don't get stuck trying to make all of them perfect. My brain wants to keep testing poses forever. But if I don't choose, the illustration never gets born. So I pick the one that best communicates the emotion I'm looking for. Sexy, relaxed, powerful, vulnerable, playful. The one that feels the most honest to that emotion, even if it's not the most spectacular, is the one that wins. And here comes a very human part of the process. Even when the idea is clear, a lot of things don't work on the first try. The hand looks weird. The clothes don't fit right. The object the character is holding feels glued on, instead of being part of the scene. Instead of forcing myself to invent everything from scratch, I do something very simple but powerful. I look for more references, specific ones. If the hands don't work, I look up hands. If the clothes feel off, I look for folds, fabrics, poses with similar clothing. If the character is holding something, I look up how that object looks in perspective. That way, the sketch stops being pure imagination and becomes a mix of intention plus references. With the sketch clearer and the specific references right in front of me, I move into the part I enjoy the most. Lineart. At this stage, I can still fix things, but I'm no longer inventing from scratch. I'm refining. Lineart is where I really decide which lines exist and which don't, where I simplify, where I mark folds, which details I want to stand out, and which ones I just suggest. It's not just about cleaning up the sketch. It's about interpreting it. Once the lineart is where I want it, I move on to color. Since this process is for flats or cell shading, I'm not chasing hyper-realistic rendering. I'm looking for clean, readable color shapes. First, I lay down the base colors. Skin, hair, clothes, accessories, background. No shadows yet. Just making sure the palette works together. If something clashes, this is where I fix it. Lower saturation, shift the hue. Move a color so the character separates better from the background. Once the flats are done, I move into shadows. With cell shading, shadows are like paper cutouts. Clean shapes that define volume and light direction, without losing that flat illustration look. The first step isn't shading just to shade. It's deciding, where is the light coming from? Is it soft or hard? Do I want drama or something more chill? With that decision made, I place shadows in key areas. Under the chin, under the chest, in clothing folds, behind objects, where 2 volumes meet. At this point, the drawing starts to feel alive. But I still do one more thing. Small accents. That can be a touch of light on the tip of the nose, highlights in the hair, a soft gradient in the background, to guide the eye, or tiny details in the eyes. Nothing crazy, just enough for the illustration. To have weight and presence, even though it's still a simple drawing, in technical terms. And that's the whole flow. 1. Pose reference. 2. Idea sketches. First, choosing the strongest one. 4. Specific references when something doesn't work. 5. Intentional linear art. 6. Base colors, flats. 7. Cell shading. Plus, small accents. It's not perfect. It's not the only valid way, but it's real. This is how I think through my illustrations. When you understand someone's process, it stops looking like magic and starts looking like something you can build step by step yourself. You don't need everything figured out from the start. You just need one clear next step at a time. If this video helped you see drawing as a path with stages, instead of either it works or you're bad, leave a like and share it with someone who always freezes in front of a blank canvas. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing how Candyverse illustrations are built. From the inside, no filters. Follow me. This is the Candyverse.